Hello and welcome to this Rain Runners video on how long you should keep your running shoes before throwing them away. Hello, I'm Toby. Now, if you Google how long you should keep your running shoes for, you'll often come up with a figure of about 500 miles, which is about 800 kilometres. Now, Strava, which is the social network for runners, where you can log all your runs, and you can log your shoes on there as well and see how many miles you've done. That has its own recommendation. When you register a pair of shoes on Strava, it comes up with the message, and I quote, "The general industry recommendation is to replace shoes between 500 and 800 kilometres to prevent injury." End quote. Now I've got my Strava set to kilometres, but if you set it to miles, it says between 300 and 500 miles. And it also has the option for it to notify you when you've run a certain distance in your shoes to remind you to throw them away. Well, when they talk about the industry recommendation, I presume by industry they mean the companies that will profit from you buying a new pair of shoes. I'm going to get straight to the point here. 500 miles is a very short distance for a pair of shoes to wear out in, and you shouldn't be going by distance anyway. You should be going by the newly discovered technique of getting rid of your shoes when they actually wear out. Well, I don't know if Strava have been paid by the industry for peddling this rubbish, but if so, they shouldn't need you to pay to subscribe to their Summit account with extra special features that you don't need. Anyway, I recently threw away my Adidas Boston Boost 6 shoes after an estimated 4,000 miles. I would have kept them to show you in this video, but unfortunately I hadn't decided to make this video at that point. But here's a photo anyway. You can see they were pretty knackered, and I wouldn't necessarily expect you to run your shoes into the ground the way I did with those. But you shouldn't be taking the other extreme either. But the point with my Adidas shoes is that the damage was pretty much all cosmetic until the side of one of the shoes split too much so that my foot wasn't secure anymore. And that was the day that I got rid of them. People might say, in defence of going by mileage, that the cushioning in your shoes will get less effective over time and you might not notice it happening. Sure, but unless they're actually uncomfortable to wear, there's no reason to stop using them. There's no reason why they should be an injury risk, because different shoes start out with different amounts of cushioning anyway, and some shoes have barely any and are fairly minimal in their construction. You should be able to trust your own judgment to see when your shoes are too uncomfortable to wear or have lost their structural integrity or basically don't function as a running shoe anymore. Another point is you might have a racing shoe that's got high energy return and you might not notice them wearing out and becoming a slower shoe, which could be important for your race times. Well, fair enough, you might want to go by mileage in that case, but there's no need to throw your shoes away. When you've gone a certain mileage in those shoes, you can just relegate them to being a training shoe and then throw them away once they have actually properly worn out. These Reebok Float Ride Run Fast have done about 1,000 miles or 1,600 kilometres, and other than a small amount of cosmetic damage on the upper, they seem as good as new to me, but to throw them away because the shoe industry recommends it would be ludicrous. I run over 100 kilometres or about 60 miles most weeks, so I would have to buy a pair of running shoes every couple of months going by the recommendation. But that's not happening, they're not getting my money. So anyway, the conclusion is don't replace your running shoes based on how many miles they've done. Go by whether they actually still work as running shoes and whether they've worn out. Now it might depend on height, weight, running style, etc. But in my experience, at 500 miles or 800 kilometres, your running shoes are still new. Now you might have specialist lightweight running shoes that are so minimal in their construction that they fall apart after just a few hundred miles. But other than that, a mere 500 miles is a very poor return on your investment. So the bottom line is you should be able to trust your own judgment on whether your running shoes are suitable for running in. Okay, so that's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, and don't forget to add Rain Runners as your club on Parkrun.